So, this is Norma Lynn Stokes. She's my grandmother, and she's a director of education at St. Paul the Apostle Catholic Church. Thank you for coming here today. So, one question I have for you is, what are some experiences you might have seen out of your field of expertise?
With children with autism. We have had several young people that have grown into young adults that have come through the programs at the church that have autism or have been diagnosed on the spectrum. And aside from the bullying that they get from other children, they've had good experiences and have all gone on to be successful adults in different degrees. You know, success has different definitions depending on who's using the word.
Okay, I like that. So, what is some habits that you might have seen autistic kids doing? Like, are there any habits that might have caught your eye?
Well, there have been. I have one young man that I didn't realize even was on the spectrum because he fit in almost nondescript with the other young people his age, except when it came to noise, and that's what I think your grandfather already alluded to. The noise would set him off, and he would have a tantrum, or he would, when he was very young, or when he was older and he learned to control it a little bit, he would just leave if things got too loud or too, or if there were sudden noises. So loud and sudden noises really bothered him. But other than that, I would never have known that the child was on the spectrum at all. The other things I've seen are that are different from a child that's not on the spectrum. Quick tempers, and the inability to control the anger, you know, that comes from it, depending on what the temper tantrum is. Also, the inability to understand sarcasm and to read the body language of somebody to know whether they're joking or whether they're being serious.
Okay, so I think you're calling me out a bit there, but...
No, not just you. I mean, there's
a lot of people
common.
Who might have a similar experience as me.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, so what are some things that you think can help somebody on the spectrum be successful in the workforce?
Well, I think education is the best key, because I think education is key to anybody that's going into the workforce. And specific training to the needs of whatever the job might be. And this might entail a little bit more work on whoever's doing the hiring, and along with the fellow employees, so that there's some education for them as to what the needs might be. I don't think autism necessarily has to be a disability, but in a way, because you have to make special accommodations, it kind of is. I don't know how to really describe that. But if you have somebody coming to work with you that cannot walk and that's in a wheelchair, you make accommodations for them. The same thing for someone that can't see or cannot hear. So I think that we need to make accommodations when somebody has a need or has a diagnosis on the spectrum. And those just differ completely depending on the job. You know, if it's an office job where you have to work by yourself, that's going to be completely different than working in a big office with cubicles with 100 other people working side by side. So I think it just depends on the job, but I think there definitely has to be some accommodations if it can be made. If not, maybe the job's not for them. I think that's a good thing for the college. I don't know, were you going to ask me about the college, what the college could do?
Well, that is one of my questions.
Oh, okay.
Are there any ideas you could think of that could help Spartanburg Methodist College help kids on the spectrum succeed in education and prepare them for getting a job?
Well, I think they've done a great job so far. The 4 years that we've experienced it, and you're not the only student I know that's on the spectrum that's attended the college. and they've all graduated, and that's wonderful. So preparing you for what comes after graduation, I think is something they could do. And maybe if there is a school to work advocate somewhere that could help young people, young adults find a position that fulfills what they've studied and fulfills or is open to whatever accommodations need to be made. So that would be, I think that would be a great, I don't know that they have anything in place right now, but I think that would be a great asset to the, I'm sure there's more than children on, adults, young adults on the spectrum. I'm sure there's children with other disabilities that attend the college, so that person could aid all those students in finding work after graduation.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good answer. And I think another question I might have is, out of all you've seen in these past 4 years when it came to seeing kids on the spectrum, how do you think they might succeed in the future? Like, how do you think they would feel? Like, do you think they would feel good about themselves if they managed to graduate?
I think graduation gives them a great deal of pride in finishing something they set out to do, but also it prepares them, so that when they do go out, they feel a little bit more secure in being around other people. Because when you come to college, it's very different from when you're in high school and you're with the same group of kids for 4 years. College is very different. You've got people from all over the place, and so I think it's a good experience for you to prepare you to go on. And I think that there's a great deal of pride that goes with graduation and succeeding at something.
Okay, I guess that's all I have for you. Thanks for coming here today.
Well, thank you for having me.